So, where we last left off, we had just recovered from a suicide bombing, lost a couple of key limbs. I'm hearing footsteps right now. The party managed to make their way into the hands of a wonderful doctor who stitched them right up and gave them a couple of enhancements and sent them on their way. And when we ended that session, you all were going to meet with Neve on the Grim. So, when we come back to the session, you all are making your way to the core spire.
At this point, everyone's gotten checked out, looked at, right?
Yeah. I mean, you all are at reasonable amounts of health. Not perfect, but reasonable.
Oh shit, I need to update some shit on my sheet and give myself my resolve back.
Same for anyone else.
Because I have a lot of resolve.
I guess I have to refund mine too. I don't really have anything else I need to do.
Yeah. Anybody else got an idea? Something they want to do before they head up to the core spire?
I don't think I have anything.
Yeah, we can.
I can't
we
think
can
of
go.
anything in particular.
So, keeping in mind that you are on the ground floor of the Crucible, which is essentially the undercity filled with fucking darkness and gangs and street violence and shit like that, you will carefully make your way towards the central pillar until eventually you find one of the various checkpoints that are shrouded in spotlights and armed guards. You're quickly ushered in because, I mean, obviously you're being expected. Not that long after you've been ushered into a small warding segment of this little outpost on the outside of the core spire, that you meet another person. Takes them about maybe half an hour to get to your location, but it is once again the Acolyte of Neve, same person you've been meeting with for a while. Now, someone remind me, did you hand off the data that you had retrieved initially whenever you met this person?
Yes.
Yeah,
we
handed over his tablet.
I handed off the memory bank card or whatever my personal data pad takes.
Right. So, when you meet this person, their immediate first response is, Neve is currently going over the data and has no time to chit-chat, but she has left you some things. If you would come with me, I have a vehicle waiting for us.
So, while we're walking, I'm going to say, we ever going to get another face-to-face meeting with her again? Some pretty important shit's gone down.
I am certain if she wills it, it will be done.
Kind of cross my arms at that. Just keep walking.
Regardless, we need to get you all properly outfitted and rewarded. So, you all load up into the flying transport that is currently available, waiting on a outside landing pad in this outpost.
As I sit down in this aircraft and buckle myself in, I thought the microprocessor they put in my neocortex was a reward.
Well, you, for instance, have received a full and well reward, but some of you are lacking in gear. And she kind of like nudges her eyes over towards the less wealthy party members.
It's been a while since I just stuck with this whole pistol and stick thing. Upgrade be in order.
You know, kind of look over at Baku. Didn't they put a computer in your brain too?
Oh yeah, they hence my strength capabilities.
Well,
I mean,
brain then, but
if I'm being honest, I guess I wouldn't mind having a better handgun, but I think I've already claimed my as well, so I don't think I apply here.
So I look at both Enkos and the doctor. So
Tom is staring outside of the window, contemplating.
How are we all feeling about our new eyes?
Our new what?
Eyes. We all got the same implant.
Tom kind of like, what? Oh,
I don't.
sorry. I wasn't paying attention. I apologize. What'd you say, Mr. 447?
Our new implants. How are they treating us?
Still getting
Well-
used to it.
I am now immune to stubbing my toe, which is kind of nice, I guess, but it doesn't feel the same as the old look did.
Well, the three of us all got the same dexterity enhancer. Just figured I'd ask if there's been any issues. I feel fine.
Yeah, I feel... Oh, you're talking about that. Yeah, no, I don't actually feel much of a difference, honestly. But then again, I haven't really had to stress myself yet.
I feel like everything's more fluid, alive.
Yari just kind of eyes are just darting around, looking at the new stuff he's seeing in his eyes.
Yeah, you've got a whole fucking updated HUD. That data jack is definitely doing some weird shit that you've not quite seen before in your short little life, Yarich.
So remind me, Reach, you did get some implants?
I got
single
one
one.
implant.
So I'm gonna look towards Carthan. In fact, I think you're the only one who didn't get ripped open and have something put inside of them.
I mean, mine was only an upgrade to the implants I already had, but
Yeah,
Car-
but it was something.
Carthan's gonna nod a little bit. I am queasy about those kinds of work done on.
Religious compunction or...
In part.
Hmm.
In
Well,
other part, with the power I wield, I'm always afraid that I would fry something like that.
nice work back there, by the way. I caught that.
You did good work too.
I think our victims would agree.
He's just gonna lean back. Well, I'm glad to see all the martial training that I did was worth something.
So, as this vehicle begins to rumble and settle off of the ground, the side compartment, the door swings closed,
And I'm glad to see I
mostly
can
in part to a armored soldier that is currently keeping you all encapsulated in here.
And I'm
You
glad
are
to
now
s-
sitting in the dank bay of this dropship that is currently taking off.
and I'm glad to see I can still handle a real weapon after 1,500 years.
Yeah. How's the new leg treating you, Ankos?
Well, I can tell it's not real. Like I said earlier,
So-
immunity as toe stubbing is kind of cool, I guess, but
Let me ask you, Detective, does that cancel out the phantom pain?
mm, I haven't felt any pain, so I guess.
I just figure, you
Actually,
know,
does
if
this
you...
thing have like any neural receptors on it? Can I actually feel through this thing?
So, I will leave that decision to you. Because it can go either way.
Well,
For instance, Timothy's implant lets him feel, but you might have gotten a variation.
I guess I would if I was to dial this back and have the decision again. I guess I'd like to say I want one that has sensation, feeling, just for situational awareness, but I don't necessarily want pain.
Alright, fair enough.
It's not like I have to worry about scarring or bruising the damn thing.
Yeah, for this instance, then, this limb is... It does possess tactile sensation, but not necessarily pain reception.
Just figure if you lose a limb, you get a phantom limb kind of feeling, but then you replace it, so...
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Haven't had enough time with it, to be honest.
yeah, it's still kind of just setting in the reality of it all.
I'm curious to see how much they're going to pay you, Carl, since you didn't take any of the implants.
Yeah, we'll see. What I am curious of is if we're going to be working for her for some time, we should probably see about some kind of accommodations.
It seemed like a long-term arrangement to me. And I'm not going to lie, next mission I might take some cold hard creds too.
So this vehicle suddenly banks and makes another turn, which causes the interior to kind of rock around. And you see the agent of Neve, who currently has glasses pushed up to her face, just kind of shift around nervously for a second as if she's not adjusted to rides like these.
Gonna kind of look towards her as she uncomfortably steadies herself. What, never been on a dropship before?
Not one that's moving so urgently, no?
I can tell.
You get used to it after the fourth or fifth time.
I sure hope so.
It's definitely an experience if you've never done it before.
So
Me and
is
Tim
it-
Tom, though, I figure we have this fairly under control.
Yeah, Tim Tom's more just like looking out the window, pondering something.
Yeah, you all spend the rest of this journey just kind of experiencing the rocking and the quaking until eventually this thing sets down. The compartment door opens and you all are ushered out into a much more secure section of the core spire where you're funneled in through hallways and guards and elaborate defenses, turrets, soldiery, all of the various shindigs. Once you are nice and tucked away into the seclusion of this place, you are brought into a chamber which appears to have rows and rows of lockers and cubbies and different locked storage units, of which there is a table in the center of the room with a set of black cases that are currently propped open. Each one has a different set of gear in it. So, Inkos,
Right.
Neve's agent directs you towards the first case, and inside you see a what appears to be a set, a weapon and a suit of armor.
Okay, what's the, is the weapon a handgun?
Yeah, you go ahead and you want to pick it up and just examine it. You turn it over in your hands.
Yeah, my question, though, is I took the reward for the whatchamacallit, the reflex enhancer as well as the leg. Am I gonna have to go out of pocket for this?
As you ask that question, Neve kind of, not Neve, but the agent kind of brushes you off and says, "Now this is the expense of us. This is a reward for further service." Kind of smiles a little bit.
Well, and I'm gonna, like, kind of pull out my old
So
handgun.
you turn this weapon over in your hand. It appears to be a large piece. A singular chamber. It looks like it only has capacity for one shell of ammunition. Do you know much about weapons?
I mean, I'd probably have a skill that allows me to try to guess about it, but
You
I
can
mean, my
hand it over to me
character-
if you don't.
I mean, I'll just go ahead and hold the thing up to Centurion and go, what's your take on this?
Okay, I'll roll on professional soldier
Professional soldier.
to fucking get heads or tails of this weapon.
So immediately you recognize this. This is still a little bit underneath, like, professional military grade. You would recognize it as a hand cannon. It is a single-shot, short-range firearm that is renowned for its, like, lethality.
Well, it's not exactly military spec, but they call this a hand cannon. One shot, very lethal, very precise. Very
This
you.
one in particular is known as a bravado, and she's going to kind of, like, put the gun down. There is one catch with this exchange of equipment. I will be relinquishing you of your semi-auto pistol.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna turn this thing over my hand, look at it, you know, think about all the fucking shots I've missed with this damn thing, and think, I'm not exactly hurting to get rid of this.
I think you're due a requisition.
No kidding. Yeah, that sounds like a good trade to me.
So yeah, you go ahead and put the pistol to the side, and she quickly gives you the holster and gets you fitted for that. There are a few adjustments, and this person seems more than happy to just be there to assist. Once you've figured out a proper place to store this thing for the future, here you go. The Bravado hand cannon.
Alrighty.
And in the second compartment of the case, it appears that there is a set of armor that almost looks similar to Vaku's in a way. Just a bit dark, made of a stiff fabric. She quickly elaborates and just goes, "You're just wearing a simple second skin right now. That's not protecting you from anything. Please,
You're
take
telling
this."
me. I'll take the armor, and it's basically like a light plated suit.
It's not plated. It is essentially a light armor that seems to be made of like a stiff fabric in some joints and looser in others. It is definitely not plated. It's very low grade. Almost looks like it's not even armor at all.
Well,
Vaku's differs in a means that it definitely looks like it's intended for combat.
Well, I guess I'll take off my overcoat and slip this on just to make sure that it actually fits, so that I don't have to get any adjustments made to it, and then I'll put the coat back on over it and see how it feels.
Once you've got your adjustments, you got your shit all equipped.
Is there any? Is this hand cannon going to use the same? Should we just say that it's using the same ammo as my other weapon?
It uses shells.
Shells? Okay, because I've got 17 rounds for a small arm, but I figured that that's probably not.
Alright, in which case, going to go ahead and relieve you of that ammunition and give you some ammunition to use here. I believe that this does indeed use this.
Let me see
Let's
if
see if that works. Yes, it
Yep,
does.
it did. It did.
So she is going to go ahead and loan you 25 rounds, which are also a part of the case.
All right. I'm gonna make a private roll just to see exactly what this thing's rolls are. Okay, well it's still just a +4. Oh, okay, cool. It has a +1, I think.
So
Unless that's something else. Cool. Sweet. All right, I'm happy and content.
I'm going to go ahead and turn over towards Vaku. For you, I did have a couple of different choices in the selection of weapons, armor.
All right. Let's see what you got.
Looking to protect yourself or deal
Or
some
deal some damage. So, I do have a, this is a bit awkward for me to describe, but previous employees of Neve did use a particularly useful piece of gear. I believe it was referred to as an Aegis, more specifically a Peacekeeper's Aegis. I think you'd find it very useful in your line of work. Should keep you well protected.
And what does this Aegis look like?
So, it definitely looks... It's got that same sort of sleek, almost stealth suit vibe that your current armor has, but it definitely has reinforced plates and certainly appears a bit more rugged, almost like an Outworld Ranger, somebody that kind of works on the fringes.
Ooh. Okay.
Definitely looks like something that can keep a low profile, but also keep you protected.
All right.
So they're going to kind of take the therm skin away and give you that equipment.
All right.
It essentially looks like an up-armored version of your current armor.
Okay. Any weapons?
Well, I didn't quite know what you were interested in, so I picked up a few. Let me go ahead and bring them out then. So, I have a small selection of melee equipment, but I kind of wanted your own personal recommendation. I do have a, I don't know if you know what a hand axe is.
Axe. Yeah, it's just those things used to chop wood.
It's a bit different than that, and she's going to go ahead and pull this thing out of the case, and it flicks out of its sheath and unfolds into, like, from two separate parts into one separate part, and it definitely looks like something that appears to be aerodynamic. It is a throwing axe, for lack of a better term.
Ooh. Okay.
In more sophisticated equipment, I also brought along... Let me go ahead and quickly bring it out. So, she goes ahead and digs around through this case before bringing out what appears to be a long cord, which almost seems to, I would say lessen its grip, like it kind of goes slack before you hear a little bit of a click, and little spikes come out of what is very clearly a whip.
Ooh.
So, this particular device may look particularly menacing. It is in fact a sonic weapon.
Sonic weapon.
So they're known as snap whips, and this particular model is a thunder strike. They have exceptional reach. They are analog, and they're capable of creating sonic impacts that can devastate flesh.
Okay.
I was looking into more advanced forms of whips, but I figured this would be appropriate for the situation.
All right.
So would you prefer a throwing axe or the whip?
I'll take the whip.
Kind of nods and goes ahead and places this into your inventory. She almost goes for the Lyokan battle staff, but kind of hesitates for a second. Do you mind if I liberate this from your possession?
I prefer to hold on to it. It has sentimental value to me.
Kind of raises up both of her hands in a very, like, I'm sorry I asked kind of gesture. So, I hope you two are pleased with your selection of arms and armor.
Very. Needed the upgrade for quite a while. I hope I can make good use of it, but I'm about as good a shot as, well, as somebody doesn't shoot, I guess.
Kind of gives a couple of curt nods before turning over towards Timothy. Timothy, it's your turn, Timothy.
V8109.
V8901, V8901.
Eyes roll over back of the head. Kill John Lennon.
Kill John Lennon. Kill John Lennon.
Kill John
Kill
Lennon!
John Lennon!
The fuck is happening?
Nothing.
Hey, Dad,
Let's
where's
continue.
John Lennon?
Well, you gotta kill John Lennon first.
Oh
Cool.
boy.
So, for you, I have a very simple item.
A snub-nosed 44 revolver.
What? Anyway, this was liberated from a Dominion crash site. You may find this particularly useful. They are typically known as spined blades, and they are a... I should just go ahead and pull this out. And goes ahead and slips it out of the case, and you see what almost appears to be a long sword. It has... a hollow tube kind of running along the side of it, and several pipelines that appear to show that this thing disperses liquid that is injected into this weapon via a port along the pommel.
Mm.
Figured you would have more use for this weapon than they would, being dead and all.
And Tom kind of grabs it with almost the look of like he has no idea how to handle a sword.
Not know how to wield a blade like this?
No. I'm only. Would this be considered like a martial weapon of some sort?
This is a basic melee weapon.
Oh, if it's a basic melee weapon, then yeah,
I
he
mean,
would.
you get a general idea of, like, pointy end go into the enemy.
Yeah. How big is it? Is it like a fucking claymore, or is it more like a
It
fucking?
is definitely not a two-handed weapon. It is the equivalent of a short sword.
So big fucking knife for
It
Tim
is
Tom.
a big knife for Tim Tom. It's basically just like a, I don't know if you know, like a trench knife, but it has a fucking, like a hollow injection angle on it.
Okay.
In any case, kind of seems to look over the majority of your other items. I don't see much of an equivalent exchange whenever it comes to this, so I'll just leave you with that and we'll call it a draw.
All right. Tim Tom starts playing with the big fucking knife.
Now, she turns over towards the rest of you. I hope you're not disappointed, but Neve did deem that you all had received significant reward from the doctor, as well as our residents friend, and she's going to kind of turn over towards Carthan. She has some concerns over, well, your intentions in these parts, but she has deemed credits to be sufficient enough. I hope that won't be a problem.
No, that'll work just fine. Send the good lady my regards.
I'm gonna roll a attack for this knife to see what it looks like.
You just murder her.
I'm gonna
You know-
stab Neve's assistant.
No, I just want to see what the fucking like modifiers are.
I
Okay.
just want to see what her insides look like.
Hmm?
Well, there's another way you could do that, but
Oh god.
Oh god.
Okay. So Valkyrie just kind of like starts. He kind of like goes off to like a separate area and starts testing the whip.
Oh no. So you all just start practicing with
Uh,
these weapons.
I'm not going to.
no, neither am I. I'm good.
No, Tim Tom is more like examining it. I just did that roll. That's not a Tim Tom
Yeah,
doesn't
no,
actually do that.
I know, it's just like it's
It's
hilarious to see because her eyes kind of partially go wide while you're all bristling with new weaponry. I imagine, Vaku, you probably go off into the corner of the chamber and just like let this thing snap off.
Ooh.
So what it does, it is essentially coils, and the spines along the whip seem to resound with each other and make a absolute like cracking sound.
Oof.
And it seems like even the sonic blast from the weapon itself could do some damage to just flesh.
Damn. Fear the whip. Respect the whip.
Be the whip.
Respect the pouch.
So,
Respect it. Yeah.
Well, they're
Carthan,
Oh, my third.
Carthan is going to look towards Neve's assistant. Say, if you're showering us all in gifts, then could you help us find some sort of accommodations, since it appears we're going to be working with your lady for some time now?
Of course, it would take some figuring out, but tell you what, you all go out and enjoy yourself for maybe a day or two while Neve recycles for the data that you've gathered. I'm going to go ahead and sift through her pouch and give you just enough credits to rent out essentially a moderate hotel for a couple of days, along with some credits for food.
Yarge is going to point out my. I'm sorry, but my personal pad still doesn't have a battery pack or a memory box.
She kind of blinks and looks over to you and like, what?
When during the explosion, my battery pack on my custom rig got damaged.
Oh goodness, forgive me. Do you have the item on you?
What?
Yarge is going to take off the custom rig and show it over.
Yeah, she's going to go ahead and look over this item. I hope you don't mind me asking, but I'm going to liberate this from you for a few days. And when you have it back, it'll be good as new, okay?
Okay.
Kind of gives you a small pat on the head.
I want to know
Alright.
where
The
Zacharias
antennas
is.
go up as he kind of he nods and he's going to just kind of fiddle with his 4 little hands.
I want to know where Zacharias is moored. We have our own vehicle that's stuck there.
Oh, right, the hangar bay in which we had all found you. Currently he's being confined to his ship, for reasons that I am not allowed to specify.
That's fine, but we have our own vehicle there that's currently parked.
I'm certain you will find the current means of public transportation more than fitting. That being said, if you wish to liberate your vehicle, I will not stop you. Just be warned that traffic here is rough, and if you are caught in a bad situation, car crashes here can be lethal.
Yeah, well, I didn't figure our vehicle was suit for public transit anyway, but just want to be aware of where our stuff is.
I assure you that none of your things have been touched.
Works for me.
Oh,
All right. Well, suppose we should get a move on.
If you wish, I have a small selection of Timothy's just sitting there in the corner, like testing it out and like, swinging the knife. I just kind of nervously dart over.
He found one of those ballistic gel torsos.
No, I'm just I was curious what its damage is, and I kind of like it. It kind of hurts.
Yeah, there are a small amount of establishments that you all could go and peruse for a moment while we just get a hold of this situation.
Establishments.
Have you never been?
What do you mean establishments? What are you talking about?
There are places to visit. There are things other than missions and protocol, Mr. Soldier.
But what sorts of establishments? What are you talking
Oh.
about, like outfitters, weapons, armor?
No, I'm not speaking of more equipments. I'm referring to relaxation.
I see. And what is the idea of fun on an industrial production world?
Well, of course, there's always drinking. There are a couple of bars that you could definitely go to. I haven't been able to go pubbing in a long time, but I assure you, the people here party just as hard as they work. There are... God, honestly, I haven't been in the Crucible for maybe a year and a half. The fact that I'm here with Neve is a miracle in and of itself.
They
I'm
never give you
typically...
any breaks?
Kind of scratches the back of her neck. I get time to myself.
Doesn't seem like it, but that's none of my business.
In any case, I'm sure you all find something to do here.
To be entirely honest, I wouldn't mind finding a range to test out this gun.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, the relaxation sounds heavenly, but I really should figure out what I'm doing with this thing first and
Curious to
foremost.
see how that little trinket works myself.
But I'm sure that's something we could probably also figure out. I mean, public directories are a thing.
I mean, hey, again, you could go visit some restaurants, maybe even get away from the Crucible itself and walk around this lovely world of Castellum. There are a wide range of warded-off parks that you could go and peruse. The underground vegetation is quite pretty this time of year.
Wait, underground vegetation?
Oh, do you not know?
I've heard of stuff like that, but I never visited. Me and
I wasn't born here, but ancient historical accounts of this planet used to show that it was covered in a verdant wealth of life until it suffered some ecological disaster, at which point the life forms here were forced to move to a seasonal underground lifestyle.
Yarge tilts its head, and he's going to. He now knows how he's going to spend his free time without his computer.
Yeah, during the cold and harsh winters, they tend to hold up in their little caves and caverns. But during the springtime, all of the flighted creatures will go flying out of their little holes and do what the birds and bees do.
Huh.
Of course, of course.
Anyway, I'm going to leave you all to it, so have fun.
As she leaves, I'm gonna look around towards the rest of the party. I suppose we should find our lodgings first. Get that squared away, then we'll figure out what our next move is.
I think we should.
This sounds like a good plan.
So,
I agree.
I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm not keen on doing anything that's not progressing our goals.
Hey, I have a question,
I mean,
Levi.
there's not
Go
much
ahead.
I can do without my
You
tablet.
said this is a trench knife. Does this have trench knife able to be equipped as a bayonet?
I would say that if you wanted to strap this thing to a weapon, that's something you'd have to figure out with the R-Reach, because it's not meant to be a bayonet.
Oh, okay.
Alright.
You'd have to probably be able to make custom make a lug.
So did she give us directions towards that hotel, or is it something we're gonna have to find ourselves with the like living money we were just gave?
You were given directions towards a meager hotel.
All right, let's head on down that way.
Yeah.
So you will slip your way out of the core spire. Now that you've ascended via an aerial vehicle, you are now in the stage 2 environment, the industrial districts, with hordes of people that are all foaming at the mouth to try and take things from you. Today it seems a bit more calm. Most people are kind of keeping to their own gathered little packs and flows, and you know, eventually you make it to this designated location. The place itself is not particularly nice. It looks very grungy. It's built into the side of a long wall of like commercial districts, so there's going to be problems with noise and various shit. But you head inside. The person attending to the counter is asleep, but you already have the credits and the appointment, so you basically walk in and access your rooms. They are, again, mediocre accommodations. Occasional light drifts in through the window, through the rest of the crucible. Kind of just the sounds of grand industry at work.
So rooms plural?
Yeah, no, you've got a handful of rooms.
Do we each have a room, or are we sharing, or what?
Well, in terms of, like, I would say if you're wanting to share rooms, that's possible, but each person can have their own room.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
Alright.
As far as you're concerned, your payment here has already been sorted out through the assistant and Neve herself.
All right. Well, if we each have our own room, then I guess I'm gonna. I don't know. I don't really have anything to do here. I just want to make sure I have access to my room and then figure out what we're doing next.
So, what is it that the party's doing?
Yari just going to begin investigating the. How should he investigate what happened exactly? He's going to go to a public library and kind of see what exactly happened on this planet so long ago.
It is definitely not that hard to get access to an archive. I would in fact suggest that you make... Diplomacy is not a trained skill, I don't think, so make a diplomacy check.
Diplomacy is -1.
Make it anyway. A 3. You managed to stumble into an archive that is occupied by a very... would typically be nice old lady. Whenever you walk in and start perusing through these books and various data slates and templates and memory cards and shit, she actively comes out with a broom. What are you?
I'm a Lymetria.
Oh, you can talk. So, what do you want?
I was just kind of curious what happened to this planet.
What do you mean, what happened to this planet?
Oh, I heard that there was some sort of disaster that caused all the life on the surface to go underground.
Oh, you're referring to the planet's origins. Yes, originally, Castellum was a stable continental moon of our great gas giant Astarte. The actual disaster itself was astronomical in nature. It was a gravitational anomaly that shifted the orbit from stable to a, It's best that I just show you then. Going to go ahead and tap on a couple of computers and show you just kind of diagrams of history that has evidently been taught over these hundreds of years of being, like, living here.
Mhm.
On this diagram, it kind of shows off a couple of different pretty pictures. It definitely went from a stable orbit a long time ago to a orbit that, like, drastically shifts from comfortable to hellish conditions. I would say go ahead and make a knowledge nature, or not nature check, a knowledge culture check to see what you glean from all of these teachings.
Would it be more appropriate, seeing as we're talking about science and
Oh, physical science, sure, yeah.
yeah.
So, with the 30, the change in orbit kind of drastically affected this planet's ecology. The life adapted to these radical changes, and they essentially live underground during the periods in which the moon is closest and furthest to its parent gas giants. It's only during the in-between periods, whenever it's relatively stable, that life flourishes on the surface. Other things that you gather about Castellum, it has a low surface oxygen, despite the fact that it has a comparable atmospheric pressure to Earth. Ash storms basically swathe the surface constantly, as volcanic terrain kind of continues to pollute the air. Other things that you would glean is that the surface water pH is low enough to be acidic, mainly because of the atmospheric processes like the constant ash storms. And it also possesses subterranean oceans that support a thriving underground ecosystem.
That's actually really interesting.
Oxygen levels in the caverns are much higher due to thermal bacteria around these underwater CO2 vents. And from what you can glean, most of the civilization here live in geologically stable terrain. Fortresses and cities lined with weapons and they're essentially civilization lining emptied volcanic tubes, empty lava tubes.
Understood.
That's kind of what you glean from your time here.
Alright. I have found out what I find this interesting, and I begin going off on my own again to look at other things around the place.
Fair
I-
enough.
I kind of want to find. I want to find Ankos.
Shit, probably not that hard. I imagine you all are just chilling at the hotel.
My yeah, if you catch me before I leave, my next destination would be trying to find a some type of shooting range, or
So
just going far enough outside of the city that I could maybe find.
Yeah, if I know
to shoot.
Ankos is going to a range, I'm going with him.
So I'm gonna kind of come up to Ankos, be like,
I'll be right back.
I think we have a mole.
A mole.
Doctor, what
Like,
the
are you
fuck
talking
are
about an
you?
infestation in the hotel, or are you saying that? You know what? Just explain your thought process, please.
Something hasn't been sitting right with me as of late.
I mean,
Our friend, 202, she knew where we were gonna be. She called us by our group name, which, if I recall, we've only ever said a handful of times. First of which was on the ship.
Zacharias and his staff knew it. I don't know how many people he's mentioned it to. I don't exactly have a categorical list of every time we've said it. You saying that maybe she knows somebody close to us?
I think so. Why is she on this world? She's here. How did she know we were getting here? Is it I kind of believe in coincidences, but there's a lot of planets out there, a lot of other places she could run to. Why here? Secondly, I understand, it might just be an absolute fluke, but part of me doesn't think that.
Well,
I think somehow she knew we were going to be here. I think somehow she's getting information out of our new employer, technically?
I mean,
Somehow.
I guess that's not far removed at all. I mean, it seemed that whenever we called her, didn't it seem like she was not expecting us to be here? Like it just was happenstance or what?
I don't know. Levi's not here, so he can't
No,
answer
I'm
that.
here.
Oh.
I don't know. Honestly, if we want to hunt down a mole, a traitor that might be relaying information to her, I don't even know where the fuck we'd start with that. I mean, she is a psychic.
don't
She could be, you know, if somebody's working with her that's close to us, they might not even know that they're helping her.
The suicide bomber didn't even realize he had a bomb strapped to his chest. I'm fairly certain whatever informant she has
You
aren't,
don't even know she.
aren't you here.
No, I'm not. I'm sorry. I just got a little excited.
No, you're fine. Really, I don't even think if she had any. If she has informants, I'm fairly certain they wouldn't even be aware they're working for her. And it's brilliant, really. A spy that doesn't know it's a spy.
Now that you mention it, there is something concerning now that you've brought that up. When we were active as a squad, we had a way of communicating without speaking, a neural link. When we were in formation, we could hear each other's thoughts as if we were speaking them.
Like how I'm speaking right now.
Exactly how you're speaking right now.
Tim Tom, because that's an implant in Tim Tom's brain that's letting him do that.
Right.
Could Tim Tom try to find something like a way to see if he has one of those
What do
or
you
something
mean?
similar, like an implant that would allow him to speak subconsciously?
What do you mean by speak you mean like implying and inferring like subconscious commands to your friends?
Like how Tim Tom talks. How he has the implant in his brain that allows him to
course.
speak into other people's brains. I want to see if he has something like that.
Well, as far as you are aware, what your implant allows you to do is it allows you to project like a mental will in the form of communication to individuals within a short range of you.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, what are the odds that that neural uplink is still active and she can hear what I'm thinking within a certain distance?
Well, that'd be fucking terrifying.
And again, I'd be able to hear her too, and I haven't.
After all this time, I feel like she probably would have not been using the same tech.
That's a possibility, but as I said,
The alternative is very dangerous.
I likely would be able to hear her too if that's what was going on, but I haven't.
So, did you say that you were trying to find a range?
Yeah, and if I can't find a range or if one's too expensive, I'm just gonna go to the outskirts and shoot a fucking rock or something.
Fair enough. Well, eventually you do find one. This is technically a, like, chain industry. It is owned by a company named Havoc. As far as you are aware, being that you have a pretty high culture check, you've actually heard the name Havoc before. The syndicate had essentially export industries on their end that were selling, like, Dominion Havoc-based weapons.
Okay.
That being said, though, you enter the establishment, and immediately what you were greeted with are ranks upon ranks of industrial diesel punk, like weapon racks hidden beneath sheet metal, like punched hole the metal grids. And behind a counter is a very grungy, very grimy, covered in like gun grease dwarf who is currently kind of holed up to himself behind layers of armor plating.
Oh god. I guess I'll go to the counter and you said this place was a combination range and store, right?
Yeah, as far as you are aware, this is essentially a weapon shop.
Okay. I guess I'll go to this this fine gentleman running the store, and I'll ask him, "You got a range? And if so, what do you charge for use?"
He kind of almost like jolts as if he were partially asleep. Like he kind of goes like, "Oh, I didn't see you walk in here. Oh. What's up with you?
Well,
You weren't from
didn't-
around here.
No, we're not. We're just looking for a place to practice some marksmanship. You got a range here?
Well, hell. It's been a while since anyone's come to lay down some fire, I'd be more than happy to. And he kind of gets up, and you can see his hand move instinctually towards the metal grate, as if he wanted to shake your hand, and then snaps his fingers as if fucking thing always gets in the way. They installed that recently after a series of robberies. Hate it. He kind of gets up, and you hear his footsteps like a of him going over towards one of the sliding doors, which opens, and he immediately beckons the both of you forward. Come on, don't have all day.
Alright.
I sense no ill will from this guy. I'll go for it.
So as you three are walking back, and he's just kind of definitely trying to make small talk. So my name's Hadrir. What about you lot?
Orion.
Timothy.
447.
Not to say I don't see many bears walking around. What's your deal?
Long and complicated.
Aye, fair enough. I mean to pry. What kind of weapons are you going to be demonstrating today?
Well, I've got this here hand cannon.
You mind if I look at it?
Yeah, sure, why not? And I'll take it out of my trench coat and unload it and hand it to him.
Just imagine he takes the loaded gun and shoots you in the face. God, no. He takes a quick look at it and seems to almost, like, snort. He appears to have a braided beard with several, like, rings lining it, and his eyebrows extend up into, like, almost cruel-looking wicked spikes.
God.
He kind of gives an appreciative nod, and he hands it back. It's not a bad piece. You could do better, though.
Well, you know, the best gun is the one that you have.
Best guns are, Havoc branded, they say.
Well, I wouldn't know anything about that.
But that's not here nor there. You're here to have some fun. Well, in any case, he stops right at the entry of a doorway, extends out his hands. That'll be 5 credits from all of you.
I will fork over the
Yeah,
5. And
kind of
sure.
Cop it up.
I'll hand him over the 5.
Your ammo expenditure's your own. Come see me if you need more, stuff to explode. And he's gonna turn over and begin hobbling away. A fucking knee. And he kind of kicks something, like a barrel.
447 hears. I've never really been too big a fan of dwarves. I always thought they were kind of rude.
I hadn't met one until I woke up, Tim told.
I mean, he seemed like a perfectly nice guy.
I
Maybe.
don't really have an opinion.
Bears are
Anyway.
property.
Go shoot your bullets. I'll sit here and watch. Make sure
Yeah,
you don't
I
kill
mean,
yourself.
That's why
You
I'm
just
here.
get-
I want to see what that thing does.
I mean, you definitely don't have to worry about me shooting myself. You've seen me fire before. I'm not good, but I'm not dangerously inept.
So,
what you're telling me
blink,
is you're such a
blink.
bad shot you couldn't even hit your own foot.
whenever you walk into this chamber, it is very similar to any typical range that you would find. There are definitely stalls with different sections, basically separating everybody. There is already a man here. However, it looks like he is currently cleaning some of the equipment. He is human, very gruff, kind of burly. But he's kind of just going over stuff and, you know, doing his own thing. He probably works here. You approach one of the stalls and find that there are a selection of buttons that you can manipulate.
I'll just, you know, read the descriptions on them. Do I see any actual paper downrange or what?
So what you find appears to be a blank, featureless range. Like there's no paper or anything here. You lean down and look at these descriptions and slots, and actually, do you read anything related to the Dominion? Have you picked out your spare languages yet?
Oh, fuck, I don't think I did.
Be back.
Shit. Growing up on Axiom,
For this
Um,
instance, I would probably say that you are not familiar with the Dominion tongue.
Yeah,
So
I would
these,
say that's a
these
safe
glyphs are in a foreign language to you.
Hmm. Do my glasses have any type of translation program?
I imagine you could spend some time and manually figure out each character, connect to the local infosphere, and try to translate it manually.
Well, that sounds like a lot of effort. I'm just going to press things. Just note what they do.
Yeah, just put
So,
it through Google Translate.
yeah, you hit a button, and all of a sudden a bunch of fucking lithographic light, this hologram, flickers in and begins spinning rapidly.
Oh God, I turned that off real quick.
So it flashes, and if you're gonna hit the same button, it just turns off.
Okay, I'm just trying to look for a standard, like, I don't know, 15-yard holographic target.
Are you just gonna keep pressing buttons?
Yeah, pretty much.
So, you get several options. There are basically spinning template diagrams that are meant to kind of train your repeated target locking, because just shooting a stationary target is one thing. The real skill is firing at multiple consecutive moving targets within a span of a couple seconds.
Right.
So you flick through. There are several things of varying difficulties, from the typical hostage scenario to definite just like flat billboard with a target painted on it and holographic lights. You're also able to choose the distance after manipulating the buttons and eventually get it to stop spinning.
I will go ahead once I finally figure this out. I'm just gonna set it to about 15 yards away, and I'm going to take my handgun, put the round that I had ejected out of it out of my pocket, and aim the damn thing.
So you set it to that designated 15 yards, you say?
Yeah.
Go ahead and give me an attack roll with a -4 penalty.
-4?
Yes.
What's the range on this fucking thing?
Look at it.
Hand cannon bravado. 20 feet. Holy shit. Okay.
I mean, hand cannons are pretty much designed to be used in like close quarters.
I guess. Fuck. All right.
Anyway,
So
expending a shell.
yeah, -4. I guess I'll just give it a non-lethal.
So, even with the non-lethal blast, this is still just a stationary target. So I
Right.
imagine you hit the upper right corner of it, pretty close to center, but not quite there. The actual designated zone that you hit beeps for a second, and then the lithogram kind of flashes in front of your face, which startles everybody, and shows you in particular which segment you have struck and where exactly it was.
I guess
Before it
just
returns.
for shits and giggles, I'll roll the damage just to see what it's gonna do on damage. I think this, what is the thing? It's a, ooh shit, it's a D8 plus 2, fuck.
And at that point, after you snap off that shot and smoke begins to steam from this thing's barrel, you actually have to break it off and a singular shell ejects.
Huh. Fucking cool. I want to move it to the actual effective range, which I guess in this case would be about would be about like 10,
About 6.5 yards.
Yeah, 20 feet. Fucking move it up, and I want to like. I want to go ahead and see what my theoretical max
You
damage.
want to try and trick attack the sign?
Basically,
What
I guess.
skill check do you use against the sign?
Oh, God, I'm fucking gonna kill him. I guess I'll use I'll use bluff. I guess I'm gonna bluff the fucking sign.
So I imagine
I
Anchors somehow, in some way, as you're like lining yourself up and getting ready to shoot this thing, you Clint Eastwood style, a holographic poncho appears on you. And you push it aside and reach for your gun, and there's this intense moment where you think the sign is going to draw first. But finally, high noon flashes and you draw the hand cannon and snap off a shot with your trick attack bonus. The sign is flat-footed.
Alright, it is flat-footed, and my attack
It doesn't
is...
have a dexterity score, so it doesn't do anything.
That's good. That's good. So I'll give it a flanking bonus, because that's an plus... that's a 14,
So you go ahead and strike this thing. It's still almost similar in the same position, but instead of hitting it on the right side, you hit it on the left side. Go ahead and roll damage.
Alrighty, give me 1d8. So it did 14 damage.
Hmm?
So 14 damage is what I got for a successful trick attack.
What do you
Oh wait a
mean?
minute, no it didn't. It didn't fucking roll. What the hell? Give me a second, I'm stupid. Hand cannon damage plus 1d8. Yeah, normal roll, fucking thing. So 10
yeah,
damage.
you're rolling a 1 on your first die and a 7 on the other one, giving you kind of like an average damage roll. You leave a smoking crater in the background of this place. There's essentially a small pit in the middle and the back of the range.
Oh god.
That being said, though, you have to snap open this weapon and put another shell inside.
Huh. That's pretty fucking good. I don't know, what do you guys think?
I simply,
Tom kind of looks over at 447's like, I've never seen a holographic range before.
nod my head in approval at this weapon.
It's pretty hard. I just hope he doesn't try to make it pay for the damages.
Well,
I think his range wasn't intended for things like this.
even he said it wasn't exactly high end, so he should have known what he was signing up for.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, either way, unless either one of you wants to take this thing for a spin, that's about all that's all she wrote for me.
I just wanted to see how it would handle. It's definitely a little more close range than I was expecting.
As I holster this thing back into my jacket, I'm just gonna kind of realize, man, my wrist really fucking hurts right now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this thing is essentially it's definitely got that fucking pistol grip. This is no rifle by any means, and you're handling all that recoil with a singular hand currently. That being said, though, I will alert you to other key statistics of this. So, the way that this thing works, it is unwieldy whenever you're wielding it with one hand, which means that no matter what action you use, it can only make one attack per round. If you're wielding it with two hands, it loses the unwieldy quality. This would be more useful to a soldier who actually makes multiple attacks in a round, but for a trick attacker, it's actually kind of fitting, because you don't really make more than one attack per round, because trick attack.
Yeah, I'm just trying to go for the maximum amount of single shot damage I can reach.
That's fair. Should be.
I mean, on a theoretical, even without a crit, I have the potential to land over 15 to 16 damage of this thing.
Oh yeah. There's definitely a lot of potential.
If one of these days, I just hope that I get a fucking crit with max damage dies too, and a successful trick attack. Boy, I could fucking blow somebody in half.
Well, this campaign's gonna go on for years, so you'll have your opportunity one day.
I fucking hope so.
Alright. So, as you all are admiring this thing and the new shit that you've been given, that same dwarf stumbles in through the door, the same Madrar from before. He is currently hauling what appears to be a very large gun up to the range.
Oh god.
He sets this thing down with a thud, and you can very clearly tell it's actually a similar weapon to the gun that Corpse used. This appears to be a light machine gun in a nature. And he kind of sets it up on the range and gives you all a nice look with a toothy grin. Before he just starts wildly spraying it like this thunder pouring down range. He doesn't even have the target diagrams up. He's just spraying it to feel the heat and flashes.
God.
And once he's expended about maybe 20 or 25 rounds, he keeps his finger off of the trigger and just kind of lets the echoing reverbs from all those shots sink into the rest of the range. Kind of gives you all a nod again.
Well, that certainly looked fun.
I
Little out of my weight class, though. Maybe one of these two guys would be interested.
So he kind of slings this thing around, brings it over to you, and sets it down butt first. The barrel dangerously veering towards his own head, but he kind of
Careful there.
careens and carefully maneuvers the barrel away from his beard. Aye, and it's yours for just a little bit over 2,000 creds.
I've got mine already.
Kind of gives you a shrug. Got plenty of other weapons in stock. Feel free to take a look around when you got more dosh.
Right.
But in any case, I heard that little gun going off. Sounded pretty useful.
Yeah, it does enough of a punch, I suppose. The single shot capacity I'm hoping isn't gonna get me caught with my pants down too many times. But oh well, I guess that's the price to pay for having a mean right hook.
Yeah, sometimes you have to make sacrifices for power. What are you all doing here anyway?
Here on business.
What sort of business, if you don't mind me asking?
Taking odd jobs. I don't typically talk about work outside of work, if you don't mind me saying.
You all mercenaries or something?
More or less.
Yeah, I guess that's not an incorrect statement.
Ain't that something? He just gives this big old snort like a... You know, got some work that needs doing.
Do
Maybe
you?
you ought to be interested.
Depends
I'm
on
always
what we're
looking for the
talking about.
opportunity to make some credits, so long as it's agreeable. What do you have in mind?
Well, we have a sister company by the name of Bedrock Industrial. Sends expeditions down into Castellum. Rob the outer crust of its valuable resources and ores. Figured it might be something that you all would be interested in.
What is, some type of escort?
Escort of a sort. You ever practice, deep spelunking?
I can't say that I have in my lifetime. No.
Well, to give you the long and short of it, it's, a deep dive into dangerous caverns filled with treasures, relics, beasties, all sorts of stuff.
Well, it doesn't sound like a vacation, but I mean, what's the pay for a run like this usually?
Well, typically you get a share of the credits worth of the stuff you haul back.
Right, so a good run means a lot of. All right, so have you ever done it yourself? Do you have any experience in this field?
No, that'd be Lorik's thing.
Lorik? Well, I mean,
Lorik's my cousin, twice removed.
right. He ever tell you about about what his hauls were like? Also,
A couple. He mostly talks about the noteworthy ones. Never really talks about the jobs gone bad, if you know what I mean.
well, I mean, I'd be interested in hearing about those too if I'm going to be jumping into this line of work for some quick money.
Well, one time he found a pretty precious geo that went for, what? About 3K? I think it was.
That sounds like a pretty good chunk of
Another
change
time he
money.
brought back some salvaged machinery that went for 6. That stuff was pretty rare and valuable.
Doesn't sound like a horrible idea to look into.
As long as you're fine with risking your hide for some well-earned credits.
Well, I've risked my life for much more stupid things at this point than money, so I don't know. I'd have to consult this with my companions. We're kind of sort of in between jobs right now, but not really.
Just think about it.
Yeah, we'll do. Thanks
We'll
for the
get back
tip.
to each other.
Well, anyways, I think I shot as much as I cared to. Unless either of you want to try out the range, I'm go ahead and try and
Like
find
I
somewhere to
said,
eat now.
just wanted to see what that piece was capable of.
Right. I'm gonna go see if there's a good eatery around here somewhere. And I will go.
I think I'm
ahead
gonna
and,
go with him. Go get some yummies.
Just in the interest of making sure that I am not alone and therefore more vulnerable to attack, I will follow.
I don't like any of you guys, but I'll come with if it's safer.
God damn it. Yeah, no, I guess now I'm gonna look around like a diner or something. Fucking want me to give like a culture check of some kind to check it to
Yeah, go right ahead.
find. A culture.
So, what you would know is that in an environment like this, the main things that they would have access to are the local wildlife that they've managed to rear and domesticate, as well as any cave-bound mushrooms. So, eventually, you find what appears to be a small restaurant off the corner of the industrial district. It seems to have a picture of a curled, like, winking devil face, horns and all, with, like, little spiky fang teeth. And just kind of working around this counter, you can see there's already windows that show off the inside of the place. There is a Saxum that is currently polishing off a very large mug of a sort.
I think I don't exactly have favorites here. The first place I find will do, and I'll point to the place and kind of like see what my party's reaction is.
Works for me.
All right,
Screw
well,
it.
yeah, fuck it. We'll head inside and get a table.
So, you sit down, order up some food. The tender is almost surprised that you're eating here, considering this is a Saxum joint and they tend to enjoy different foods than other individuals. You go ahead and get something very typical for this environment. It's just a. God, I don't even know what the fuck they would serve. I would say it would definitely be some variety of spiced insect meat along with some kind of alcohol. Nothing to get you drunk, but you're good. After
Right.
that, you all are just going to chill out here. What's going on? Anybody else want to do anything?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe give this time to Carthen and all of them to get up to some shenanigans.
Karth, have any ideas?
I think Devin's gone. Hey, Devin, your mic's muted if you are here.
All right. So
Oh shit.
you all spend whatever time remains chilling out in the hotel or just kind of running around and doing general random bullshit, looking for good deals or anything. Eventually, the time comes. You are called back to the core spire, led back into fucking Chihuahua. Led back into a secluded chamber and kind of brought before the assistant, and this time, kind of ducking out from behind a hallway, appears to be Neve von der Grimm, currently surrounded in a veil of technology. There's lots of weird shit in what appears to be almost an office of a sort. Lots of little relics, heaps, scraps of stuff. It looks like it's a little workstation that Neve uses in her work. Kind of turns around and addresses you all. I appreciate what you've done for me. Bringing me this data was a valuable part in the progression of my plans. So, my friend here says that you have some information to share with me.
Plenty.
Well, let's begin then.
I don't know if you heard, but that raid you had us go on was punctuated by a suicide bomber.
I was aware, yes.
We have every reason to believe that was 202's doing. Even had some limited communication with her afterwards. And I'm gonna throw my comm unit on the table with the messages opened up.
One of the mechanical limbs is going to sweep around and liberate this thing from the table, and she's going to take a look.
Can I ask another question? Or can I ask a question?
So as her eyes narrow, she observes the conversation that you all had. Seems very jovial.
We...
Go ahead and put down the tablet.
I also noticed something. During that fight, the doctor had to take a performance-enhancing substance to take down some of those gangers. And when he was under the effects of said substance, his eyes turned this icy blue, snake-like pattern, just like hers, just like 202's.
You think they're correlated?
I have reason to believe they are. Given that drug was related to the crime syndicate, there's a good chance she's in with them. Maybe she's running them, organizing this war to the advantage of the syndicates. And we heard some other information. Her and her cyan eyes may have appeared in syndicate military reports dating back hundreds of years. This could have been going on for quite some time.
Now that is...
Did I ever get sent that information that Uvan had?
We all were sent.
Yeah,
it.
you all were given a copy of that.
In fact, it's probably already in their database because they're going through the data on my pad that had.
If you want to see that info for yourself, it's also on the comm unit.
I have already had plenty of time to sift through the data that's been given to me. Anything else to bring up?
Kinda.
Yeah, I have a couple questions.
Go ahead.
Who all knew about that operation?
Which operation?
The one you sent us on.
Kind of puts a finger up to her chin. Well, the individuals that know that you've been dispatched from the core spire are, many. I'm sure that there were plenty of observers that saw you leaving and heading down to the Undercity. I also have individuals that report to affiliates and contacts that feed me information.
Who knew that
Why do
we
you
were
ask?
going to be there? Specific. Suicide bombings are not random. They are thought out and deliberate.
He raises a point. 202 knew exactly where we were, where to send that thing.
Are you implying that I had a leak information?
It's strongly possible.
Kind of seemed to twiddle her fingers.
And the worst part is, it's a strong possibility that the individual who may have unintentionally leaked the information or intentionally may be unaware of their playing in this
We
game,
have to
so to
remember
say.
202 has strong psionic abilities. She could be finding this information telepathically.
Also, the individual, the suicide bomber, was unaware that the bomb was strapped to his chest, which leads me to believe that he may have been manipulated.
Her fingerprints were all over that.
So, you start to notice a weird reoccurring pattern with Neve von der Grimm. Almost in a way that almost kind of feigns ignorance, a bit frustrating. You can tell that Neve probably knows a lot more than she's saying. However, the amount of information that she's willing to, let loose is, limited. So she takes in your suggestions and kind of gives you a nod. And I'll definitely be, evaluating my list of contacts. Thank you all. Is there anything else you wish to discuss?
I look around at the rest of my party, trying to give them the floor.
I'm just waiting
got
for
nothing.
my personal unit to be returned.
Speaking of which, she simply puts an arm on the table and scoots off your custom rig, which quickly falls into your arms.
Yeah,
Very
you're
well.
just going to get tapping immediately.
So, if there are no further questions, are you ready for your next assignment?
Yes.
Alright, well, I am dispatching you to a place deep within the industrial district. There is indeed a contact within Blossom that I need more information on. So, if you don't mind, she simply extends out a hand, and within that appears to be another data set which you can evaluate your mission details further on.
Is this going to be a guns blazing kind of endeavor, or are we going to be talking?
I would prefer this event to not change into all-out war with a professional crime syndicate but if it is unavoidable.
Understood. For the record, the last operation we also attempted to do with a little bit of, well, subtlety, but things went south.
Well, this time you're not dealing with minor gangers, you're dealing with, well, the equivalent of an interstellar mafia.
Right.
Just keep that in mind while you proceed with your mission goals.
Alright, well, I reckon we should get after it.
Read.
Kind of gives you a little half wave to see you off. Goes back to working at her own table. So, you all are going to leave the core spire?
Yep.
I guess so.
So you exit and quickly kind of get a small residence to yourselves while you review exactly what it is you'll be doing.
Yeah, I'll open up the mission parameters and see where we're supposed to go and what the objective precisely is.
So, you go ahead and flick this into being, and the immediate first thing that you get is a man by the name of Alton. There is a small picture that seems to flick to life on the right side, and you're actually surprised by the fact that it is a drow. Pure pitch onyx skin and flowing white hair. You guys appear to have an amber variety, and he looks very similar in origin to a former member of your party,
Yeah.
Celtagris.
I kinda huff through my nostrils. Sal would love this one if he were still around.
So, this individual is currently leading over a Blossom extension within the Dominion-ness network. His little hideaway is called the Serpent's Fang. You're to go here, or go to that location and interrogate him of any information as to his connection with your partner, 202. It's very clearly there is some kind of interesting thing going on here.
Alright, well, it seems Neve agrees with us about 202's motivations. Looks like we're going to be visiting this... I had his name written down, I'm sorry. Let me pull my notes back up. This Ulton, and asking about our tormentor.
I would recommend we do this with caution,
Right.
more so than
Well,
usual.
We're not going in there and holding a gun to his head and making him talk. This is a powerful crime boss. And as Neve said, we're trying to avoid an all-out war. So I suppose this is a little bit more diplomatic than our most recent venture.
Because that always goes so well.
So what? Are we just gonna walk in and be like, "Hey, we want to talk to this guy. Hey, are you working with 202 or some shit? How the hell are we gonna do this?"
We're also going to have to understand he might not... 202 might not be going by that moniker publicly anymore. We'll have to be
Alright,
pretty
so,
specific.
to reiterate, your target is a man by the name of Alton de Vambra. I will go ahead and paste his name into the chat. You will be heading to the Serpent's Fang and questioning him on his connection to 202, and also questioning him onto the contents of the transport that was recently delivered. A shipment of iron that was delivered on board one of the recent transportation vessels.
Okay, didn't hear that part.
That is his name. In fact, just to make mention, it was the same cargo that Yarich noticed a discrepancy in. A shipment of basically alloyed steel that was being brought into Castellum from an outside source had a very strange weight discrepancy. So Alton is to be further questioned as to what exactly was delivered to Castellum and to his connections to 202.
All right.
Okay, cool. I have that all noted down.
Alright, so what does our party do?
We prep and head out.
I guess we're going to have to find out where exactly the Serpent's Fang is, because I don't think that's something we can just go to.
So, you all have to basically make arrangements, figure out exactly where this place is, because this time there is no compass or designated marker. There's no guideline here in this mission. So what does our party do?
Well, I've never been one for the underground, so I couldn't exactly tell you how we're supposed to find this place.
I guess I could like skulk around and kind of figure out where it's at.
Well, I guess the simplest answer would probably be to find some people that might associate with him. You said this guy's a mob boss, right?
Yeah.
Well, finding connections that might, or finding people that know a thing or two about the boss and working away up the chains, best bet. Which means we're probably going to have to find a few non-reputable individuals.
Reckon you're right.
I don't know exactly what his ventures are. If I knew he was a drug dealer, then I could just go find some hack slinging shit on the side of the street and just trace it up. I'd have to find out what his connections are. Let me see. I don't want to just say I'm gonna roll detective. Gets. What did she give us any leads on that? On you know, who we can talk to find him?
I imagine that you are left with the information that you have at your disposal. So are you wanting to investigate exactly what or who Alton is?
Yeah, I guess I want to try and find out if he's a big name on the street.
I'll say you definitely want to make a diplomacy check then.
Diplomacy. All right, one of your skills.
Guess I can
So-
make a diplomacy check too.
Yeah, are you wanting to go on a separate journey to try and figure out something about this dude?
Yeah.
Actually, profession detective also might be here.
Profession detective kind of relates towards
Oh yeah, you're
like
right.
investigative knowledge.
Yeah, never mind.
So right now you're asking for information.
Right, yeah.
So, what you both figure out about Alton Devambra, in particular Ankos, since you're trying to uncover his sort of origin, like what exactly is he doing here? You get from a handful of unscrupulous-looking individuals that seem to have either met him or kind of know him by second-hand knowledge. And it's all by basically rough hands, kind of weird bandity-looking fellows, people that are kind of skulking about and probably are up to no good. In particular, what you figure out about him is that he is essentially the largest distributor of a chemical enhancement substance known as venom that is being distributed across Castellum.
Oh boy.
He has very large connections towards Blossom, and he is a very well-protected man.
I'll be right.
Vaku. Now, what you figure out, since you rolled a 24 as opposed to a 20, is that Alton has essentially connections into a family within Blossom, that is known for genetic experimentation and chemical enhancements. Their people are kind of known as like biosmiths. They do a lot of things with genetic experimentation and like biological reconstruction, regrowing artificial limbs, changing up species and genomes. There's a lot of weird rumors going on that they are twisting and kind of changing different races to kind of suit their needs better.
It's foul stuff.
That is the information that you two have gathered thus far.
So we got a drug kingpin. He's got a family full of like biomutation specialists or something. Sort of
I doubt we could
shit.
ever really. I doubt there's much we could offer to a guy like this to get him interested in us.
Yeah.
Somebody like this is not going to do us any favors or give us any information unless we have something to pay them back with, and I strongly doubt we have enough money to turn his head.
Probably right about that.
And I'm not about to start trying to threaten a guy like this. That's how you get fucking gutted and thrown outside the city.
That's how you never get found.
Either way, I'm open for ideas on a guy like this.
I've never even worked with shadier folk. I don't know how to operate with them.
I've worked with him, but I've never been able to get one up on them. Typically, when you get to his level, you get what you want, and there's not a lot of ifs, ands, or buts about it. Maybe we could I'm trying to think of an idea that's not going to be just insane bullshit.
You know,
Posing
if
as
Sal were still around, we could
Spitball, why not?
I almost want to say maybe we could posture as a new business contact for him, somebody that knows how to get him supplies or open up new distribution routes. But the problem of taking that type of position with guys like him is that if he doesn't, if our offer doesn't entice him, he's still likely to kill us because he doesn't want competition.
If Sal were
It's
still
a
around, we could
strange-
probably use his family name to get an audience. But
Yeah, unfortunately, he's I don't even know what the hell is going on with him.
We
disintegrated one day and haven't seen him since.
God,
We
I wonder
could
what
just-
happened to the rest of us.
request a meeting with them and just ask him, maybe? I don't know. I'm out of ideas.
Well, I guess that is an option. We could just talk to the guy. We are new faces here. As much as I don't want to, maybe having some unknown players do some work for him could be a great way to get him to divulge information. Not that I want to work with this son of a bitch.
So we do the same thing we did with Cat.
Yeah, I have a little bit of PTSD about talking to guys like this after the whole cat incident.
And Tom
Not to
immediately
mention-
starts looking around for
Fuck it.
high-rise fucking highways to fucking fall 600 feet to your death.
Not to mention, if he is in league with 202, we don't want to help too much.
Right. Also, trying to conceal our identities would be a good idea.
Tom looks down at himself. I'm a gigantic
Look, I
bear.
don't
There's not a
think
lot of us.
disguise is something that's really in our playbook.
Well, I'm saying
How many
disguise
other
more.
avian races are even floating around here anyway? They probably stick out like a sore thumb.
Well, I actually am quite good at disguising myself, coming up with these alternate names and
I
identities.
mean, you are human after all. Tends to be a lot of you.
So, I hate to say this, but you humans, you kind of look alike.
I could say the same about you.
I
How many
really couldn't
bear-
pick out
how many-
one bear from another.
Now that's just racist.
I imagine as he says this, like a hologram appears behind him with an advertisement of a bear that looks exactly like Timothy.
Timothy turns around. Is it like a bipedal bear, or is it like a fucking...
It's like one of those
actual
toilet
bear.
paper ads.
Tom stops, looks at this. This is the legacy of my people.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
I am ashamed and embarrassed by the marketing brand.
So, what? Is this some kind of bear face?
Nothing is sacred.
I imagine it's like a CGI bear too.
Yeah, it's like one of those cartoon bears.
It's a cartoon, first off. Second off, why a bear as a mascot? I hate to say this, bears in the wild aren't particularly, soft and fluffy. We eat things.
You're gonna have to stop yourself for a second, wonder if there even are bears on Castellum.
It's like, yeah, Tom's like, also, I'm fairly certain bears don't exist on this planet.
Well, I mean, they do now. You're here, aren't you?
That's a problem. Since
I am
anyone speaks of
literally
bear, he's the only
a
one
product
of
of
his
genetic
kind.
engineering.
Yeah, but you're still a bear, and you're still here. Therefore, there are now bears in Castellum. At least there's a bear on Castellum.
But he's the only bear, which means if he gets caught, they're going to easily trace him back to us.
Well, I guess then the simple answer is that he doesn't come to this meeting.
Nope.
Or,
Out of curiosity, are there any other Leoka here in Castellum?
Oh, if you're just asking about, none of you guys have seen one yet. Matter of
I
fact, you,
highly doubt I've seen another lightning either.
you guys have not seen a single Laoka or a Lymantria in any of your travels thus far.
I'm not even sure there's any other. Probably not even other bears.
I mean, at least Leoka and Lymantria are like races that like exist in the setting. You're literally just a genetic experiment. You're probably a one of a
I
kind.
literally am, like, in the lore, like, in the fucking shit, when you go to the uplifted bugbear. Like, yeah, you were plucked up and then raised up. Like, I'm a product of genetic engineering.
So, what are you all doing?
I guess I'm gonna go
fucking
ahead and start
question.
trying. I guess I'm gonna start looking into how to actually find this man himself, not just information about him, but
Alrighty,
Physically
do you
track
want
him.
to do this undercover?
I do.
Alright, give me a disguise check if you have one, and then another diplomacy check.
Oh, I have a disguise check.
Alright, 28. You are fairly certain that no one would recognize you to your, like, regular counterpart. 29.
I imagine as fucking Enkos walks out of the bathroom, then when he gets all changed up, Tim Tom looks at you and goes, pulls out a gun. Who the fuck are you and what did you do to Enkos? You
Calm the-
grabs him by the throat and just pushes him against the wall.
So,
My friend!
I totally imagine you have to go up to the fucking bathroom and start pulling out some shit. And you just start dabbing out white makeup on your face until you look exactly like a clown.
I'm doing a fucking clown disguise.
So, you wander your way off into the streets with the intent to search around in the deepest and darkest portions of the criminal networks here.
Just an
Until...
inconspicuous clown, like, asking around for information about the mafia.
Hilarious.
Is this canon?
Yes,
Yes.
this is totally canon. Ankos'
yeah.
disguise as a clown.
My opening line is, "You want to where I can buy some crack? Honk honk."
Honk honk.
You
So,
know where? Hey, you know where I can buy some venom?
what you actually end up finding is an alleyway affair, where essentially a human is being pushed around by what looks to be a small grouping of orcs. They're kind of getting shoved from person to person, and they're all kind of poking and making fun of this singular individual. By the time that you get closer, the central lead figure, which appears to be like a lot bigger and stronger than the rest of his comrades, punches this guy to the ground, and then immediately just kind of like pushes a finger into his face and goes, "Pay up and it'll be your legs next." And he kind of looks up, those beady black eyes focusing on you. The hell do you want?
Fucking, he's talking to me.
Yeah.
Wait. So is this some fucking? This is the guy, right? Not some bodyguard. This is the man I'm looking for.
No, it's not. It's not Alton. No, it appears to be a very large orc that you have kind of managed to work your way up to, exchanging from person to person, saying like this person knows this person. You would know that this group is established as a small gang that is kind of connected to Blossom, so it's entirely likely that he would know some way to get a hold of them.
Okay. When he asks that, I'm going to just come out and say it. I'm looking for Alton.
Alton, the hell do you want with him?
My business is my own, but I'd appreciate the help.
You fucking pissant. He's gonna kind of like get up into your face, taking a few steps just to show off that he is a very large person indeed. My business is whatever I say it is. So, what do you want with Alton?
A business a business opportunity.
You a new distributor?
You could say that. I might have ways to put product off world and open up new venues. I think he'd be interested in hearing about it.
We'll see, you piece of shit. So, he kind of grabs you by the shoulder cuff. So what? You just want me to march into the den, take you right to him, have a nice simple conversation?
Nothing that dramatic. If you could just pass me his contact information, that'd be more than enough.
I like your bravado. Fine. It's your death warrant. He simply kind of pulls your own computer out of your pocket and opens it up and is just like, what's the fucking password? You have to awkwardly take it back from him because you probably refused to type the password in front of him.
Yeah.
Until he eventually points out the particular segment of the map that you can go to visit the Serpent's Fang. You want to browse around that den of snakes, be my guest. Just don't create competition, or else I'll be seeing you soon.
That'll be too easy. Thanks for the help.
Yeah, fuck off. He's gonna kind of wave you into the dark.
I will, I guess, with this information, I'll go regroup with my party and show them what I've collected.
All right.
Tim Tom's still not recognizing Ankos' disguise.
He was in clown costume, by the way, that entire time.
Just
Nice.
Tim Tom again. He just comes into wherever we're at. First thing Tim Tom does is grab him and just pumps him up against the wall. I was like, who the hell? Oh, I'm sorry. Kind of like dusts off his like little clown top. Can I squeeze the nose?
I'm not wearing a clown outfit, you son of a bitch.
But what are you wearing that can be mistaken for a clown outfit?
I'm not. He's having a fucking schizo episode.
Oh.
Was told me to.
Fucking, I'll just say that I dressed up like a fucking drug dealer or something. I don't fucking know.
Dressed up
Okay.
like a pimp in a fucking, like a
Oh.
velvet coat.
Oh god.
With a cane.
It's better than being a clown, but
I don't know, I was digging the clown disguise.
So was I. This is a downgrade.
just dress me up as a.
You honestly have a
demon
lot more
jester.
swagger as a clown than as a pimp daddy.
So true.
Well,
No,
I'm
think-
the
I think-
back dad of Heimlich County.
I think either one works.
well, either way, we now have the means to reach this guy. What information is what information is we want from Elson again? I know that he's the prime, or he's like a prime venom dealer, but we think that he's working with 202. Isn't that our main contrivance with him right now?
Primarily, yes. We need to find out what his association with her precisely is, if any. And we also are to ask him about a shipment of iron with a weight discrepancy. We need to make sure that's actually what was in that shipment.
Oh,
Well,
he'd tell us.
Considering what we've learned about his prime mover, what he's known for, I can almost guarantee you wasn't fucking up. It's probably more venom.
Wouldn't doubt it, but our orders are to find confirmation.
Hey, you still got that necklace?
The necklace.
The one we bugged.
Shit, I don't think I got rid of it, but I don't know if I kept it. I mean, I guess if nothing else, we could make another device similar to that, but just because we bug him doesn't mean we're gonna actually get him to talk about this. The conversation has to be broached, and we have to give him an interest in talking about it.
Maybe. I'm not very good at talking to people.
Out of character, I'm not gonna lie, I'm trying to think of things that we could do for this. I am not doing okay. Let me think about this.
Hell, man, that's your guys' group decision as a party. Get an idea of what you want to do. That way, next session we can have a full session about it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, like, we need some type of weight behind this. A guy like this isn't gonna...
Actually, I do have an idea.
Oh shit, I'm all ears.
More or less the last operation we did, but instead of one team doing the shooting, one team does the talking. And Yarich, can you access stuff remotely?
Not. My stuff is not advanced enough for that yet.
Shoot. Well, maybe if we can get Yarich access to a terminal of some kind, or maybe even his own terminal, we could use that as like a means of downloading some information. I mean, it's an idea. I don't know if it needs to be, you know, from the devil's lips, so they say.
Yeah, I guess we could just try and break in and steal the information. He's probably got to keep some logs of some kind of this.
Well, I hate to say this, but the last thing we need to do is go into the proverbial lion's den, get whacked, wake up, and then we're at their disposal. That doesn't sound too fond. But I really think more of just a straightforward approach might just be the best option. Unironically, like some people say that, you know, that's a dumb... Some people, you guys might say that's a dumb idea, but, you know, maybe the simple options, the simple choices, you know. Keep it simple, stupid, you know?
I mean, as far as going in there and committing some kind of data entry to steal this information digitally, I haven't heard a better idea. We just have to find a way to keep certain parties distracted. And of course we wouldn't want, because let's be realistic, your Reach is going to be the one doing the hacking.
Right.
You can make sure that he doesn't get caught.
Yeah, I mean, we all saw about how well my last plan went through, so I'm going to take a back seat in the planning this time.
The distraction data retrieval, that sounds perfectly fine.
So the question is, how do we distract them? Because going in guns blazing for a distraction is not going to work this time.
Wonder, Levi,
Go ahead.
would my skills as a doctor be able to be, say, utilized for nefarious things? Like
What?
could Tim Tom play as a chemist?
Considering you have already tried to bootleg alcohol before, I imagine you've probably got a pretty decent understanding of chemistry. Are you telling me that you want to become the bear equivalent of Walter White?
Elton,
If we
Elton,
need an
to
in,
cook.
if we need
And
as soon as he said we
Angus,
need to cook, I was like, well, we need an in. I almost said we need a cook. And it's like, well, no, like we could use it as an in. Like if Tim Tom knows how to produce
keep in
such.
mind, you don't have to come to me for approval on this. I want
Yeah.
you guys to propose your own fucking plan. That way we can get this sorted out for next session.
Yeah.
Because so far, I'm gonna be frank, this is the weirdest and most boring session I think I've had in a while. So I wanna make the next session nice and fun.
Yeah.
So if we want to do Bear Walter White, whilst
I
we
mean,
also
It's
do
Walter
a
White without the whole
stealth
That
dying of cancer
honestly
thing.
doesn't sound like a horrible idea. Tim concocts all types of crazy shit. Maybe you could make a special small batch of venom and then say that we have a much bigger supply of it.
Tim Tom's
Holy
immediately going
shit,
to pull.
Yeah.
Tim Tom's immediately going to pull out his medical equipment. It's like
Because
you just see him walk up, take his shirt off, dunk it under some water, put it around his muzzle. Do not come in the bathroom.
oh god.
If you do, you might die.
So
I'm
here's
being
my
genuine.
question. Do you know how to make this stuff? Do you know what the composition is? We
Pulls
had
a tablet,
some that
goes on a tablet, pulls up Google. downloads fucking
Hell no! You're gonna accidentally make either soap or mustard gas. Give me that thing.
takes it back, downloads fucking the onion or downloads Torb.
Oh God.
Horb. What are you trying to figure out?
Tim Tom's going to go in the bathroom, and with the supplies he has on hand, try to create a batch of venom.
We are probably not gonna be able to make this with what we have on hand.
To preface this, venom is a product that is like kept as a trade secret within the confines of fucking like Blossom's own chem labs.
I mean, I guess you could try to like
me a
reverse
medicine
engineer some
check.
venom. Yeah.
Even if we don't make,
I need a nat 20 on this. Damn.
If venom itself is too, I hear. Could I? Nah, my assistants probably wouldn't change that. would it?
Either venom or some other strong ass narcotic.
It'd be humorous if we could make something ourselves that
What if
it
you
would be new.
use the one thing that
Like-
make a
Like maybe
know how you make the
maybe Tim
inhibitor?
Tom's making fucking heroin in the bathroom or something.
So yeah, whatever it is that Timothy is doing in the bathroom is like very, very strenuous. Until eventually, he comes stumbling out from the bathroom stall, followed by a wave of mist.
Oh God!
Imagine he's
What-
wearing a gas mask.
He's
God,
wearing a wet shirt wrapped around
Tom
his
doesn't-
face.
Tim Tom doesn't have a gas mask.
Oh God! What did you make in there?
Mistakes. Tim Tom sits down. Did Tim Tom make anything?
I imagine that what you did manufacture quickly began to evaporate, and honestly, the chemical composition wasn't even that, like, harmful. You just need to open a window or something.
Tim Tom turns on the little fucking vent.
Dun-dun-dun. So, your plan is to try and manufacture a different narcotic?
Yes.
Something we can present to him, like, hey, we have this product. We have a lot of it. We can sell it to you. It's
Yeah.
cheap, and you'll make buku money off of
We
it.
post
what
suppliers.
what if you made a
Tim Tom gets back up and starts raiding for cleaning material.
Oh
Um,
god.
can
So
I-
you managed to find some cleaning supplies, but they're not that particularly great. I'm gonna say if you are attempting to experiment to manufacture a drug of either similar composition to one that already exists, or one of your own creation, we are going to need to expend some credits in preparation for some ingredients, and we're gonna make some physical science checks.
I
53
think
credits.
the best thing
Tim
we
Tom's
could
gonna look around. I need a
Gary?
shopping list.
Yari's just
Can I
gonna
get
go
like
up to
25
Tim
credits from each of
Tom.
you?
What if we made something like the inhibitor more friendly?
The fucking what?
What?
My inhibitors don't last that long. Look, guys, I doubt I can get what I need for like 50 credits.
Don't talk to
Fine.
me. I don't have any credits either.
I don't have many, but if all of us are doing 25, that should be a good pool, and well, maybe we could make some money off it. As much as I really don't want to actually use
don't
this line of
think
work.
We should be making our credits off of dealing drugs. That's just me.
Yeah, I think I'd rather take up
Drugs. We're
that.
not dealing drugs. I need a sample.
Right. If I'm gonna
A sample of something new, original, something we could use maybe to get in with them.
A bit of chemical artistry, I suppose.
Whenever I was trying to find, God, what was his fucking name? The criminal boss. It started with an A. My memory is shot.
Anton.
Holy shit. Anton, yeah.
No, Alton. Sorry.
Alton. When I was trying to find Alton, obviously I was having to deal with a lot of shady individuals and underworld dealings. What's hot on the street right now? What's in high demand that isn't Venom?
In terms of essentially just like randomly pawned drugs, there are a couple of things. For mercenaries, it's white petal, which is essentially a drug that kind of makes you sleepy and kind of like helps. It increases natural recovery and induces a sensation of relaxation. Also lets you see some weird shit. There
And that's
are
probably
also
something that's in one of his fucking concoctions.
there
I'm
are
thinking that
also essentially liberated medicinal supplies like pain relievers.
because what I'm thinking that we should do isn't that we like completely reinvent the wheel. I'm saying that we take something that exists, create a small, high quality batch of it, and use that as our in. Make us.
Are you wanting to maybe kind of invoke a bit of your doctory stuff and try to manufacture maybe a superior version of white petal?
Sure.
Shit, okay. How much money have you gathered?
How much am I being donated?
That depends. How much do you want to contribute?
I'll
Oh,
donate
no,
you.
I see.
I'll donate you 25 credits.
Let
So
me
that brings
see
me
what I'm willing
to
to give.
78.
How
I
many
will
credits
throw
put
25 in the
into
pot.
Tim Tom drug research
I
fund?
will hesitantly put 25 in the pot
128.
as well.
I have 128 credits to put towards this project.
Alrighty. So I will inform you that that is a fairly limited budget whenever it comes to manufacturing a superior version of this.
We may want to wait for a little bit before we do this.
You know, if we need capital to make this better, whenever myself, Timothy, and 447 were at the range, we actually did get a proposition for some work.
True.
Honestly, I think that may be the best way to go about this.
We use this opportunity to pool up some more credits, and then once we have the more credits, we can make a better test batch if we really want to commit to this.
Yes.
Honestly, I think it's a really good idea.
Fuck it. Shit, let's all roll back to that range and talk to the old man working the counter. I'm sure.
I imagine as we switch scenes, like it just pans over back to that joint at Havoc. Immediately, the fucking dude just kind of goes like, "Oh man."
It's like I didn't even say that in your review. What are you talking about?
Christ.
Well,
Alright.
anyway.
So, you're finally interested in taking up that offer. Gonna go do some work for Bedrock Industrial, huh?
Yeah, we're short on creds right now, and it sounds like good, legitimate work, and it's something that we're looking for.
What you saving up for, pray tell? Got yourself a gun in mind? Still saving that light machine gun.
Let's just say we have another job we're doing that's going to take a bit of investment.
Actually, as he says the light machine, I'm gonna kind of elbow 447. Go, hey, we could mount that thing on the truck, couldn't we?
Probably. But for
Just saying.
2,000 credits?
Yeah, it is. That is steep, but I do like the idea.
I'm sure after working with Bedrock, you'll be lush with cash.
Maybe once we're rich instead of just lethal.
Right.
Well, where do you got an address for us?
I got you better than that. Going to introduce you to the same cousin. Just wait until after hours.
Stone.
The fuck did you just say to me?
Tim Tom like kind of sits there like I thought that was like a thing Dwarf said.
Points one
like-
stubby finger at you. That's our word.
That's our word.
Tim Tom kind of sits there like which one? There's 3 letters in that word in that phrase. Rock and or stone?
I'm gonna lean over and slap you.
Can he even reach me?
Yeah, through the power of sheer dwarven persistence.
He jumps.
He's going
up
to jump.
and slaps you.
Yeah, he
He's
jumps
going to jump.
up and slaps you.
Tim Tom just kind of takes like I don't looks back, looks at everyone else.
Doctor, shut the
I don't
hell up.
I don't understand what I did wrong.
Stop.
Doctor,
No,
I
like,
think it's for the
you're-
best that you just...
You're being racist. Just calm down, okay?
Racist. They have a cartoon bear outside selling toilet paper. That's racist. I said rock and stone. That shit's like pebbles on the fucking ground. It's not racist. You know what? I apologize.
If we want
He
to put
strokes his
this,
short beard and says, I'll forgive you for that time for saying it. Next time I'm going to kick you in the shins, though.
Tim Tom look. Tim Tom
Anyway,
looks
yeah,
down
I'd
at
really
this
like
man
to have
that
this
comes
contact
up to my
information.
shins.
Really like to get this contact information before Tim creates an incident.
before Tim Tom starts a racial incident.
Fucking race war between the bears and the dwarves.
Well, aye, lads. Let's, you guys just chill out for a bit. Once I get off work, we'll take my truck, go meet up with my cousin. He'll fit whether you're right for that kind of work.
Well, sounds like a plan.
All right, I'm back.
I imagine everywhere Tim Tom goes, the ceilings are too small for him, so
Oh,
he has to like hunch over a little bit.
Actually, for this instance, these particular establishments are built with Saxum in mind, because
Oh.
otherwise they'd be causing, like, destruction of property everywhere they go.
Yeah.
So this actually has a roof tall enough for you to stand up in.
Tim Tom like cracked his neck. He's like, big roofs. I like that.
It keeps the Rockies from breaking shit.
Mutters to himself. I'm the fucking racist.
So...
What was that about racism? I didn't
Tim
quite.
Tom grabs Yarh's, or not Yarh, fucking,
He picks up Yarch and then goes, wait, wrong guy, and puts him back down.
yeah. He goes over to like grab for Yarh. Oh wait, wrong guy. Grabs Baku's fucking beak. Hush. Or that
too.
Tim Tom's grabbing your beak shut.
Doctor, I think you can let go of him.
Let's go. Sorry, ruffles head feathers.
What did I do?
Nothing. Don't worry about it.
So...
He's having a moment.
You all go ahead and chill out until the end of the night, where he seems to switch the exterior sign from open to finally closed, and then kind of wanders out from behind his stall, gives himself a good stretch. All right, fuckers, up into the back, and he kind of waddles his way out. You
All right.
all make your way and get inside of this very tight, confined space in this truck, and begin to rumble down the industrial sector with this.
What kind
this
of truck is
simple man.
this?
I imagine that it is something that is very large and bulky, probably designed to make deliveries for like small objects such as firearms. But the amount of space for people is rather limited. Something that you do notice is that once you've actually crossed onto the like the vehicle way traffic, immediately becomes a terrifying ride for your life. Like there are cars speeding by, cutting across, kind of merging with absolutely no indicators. Meanwhile, he is just screaming left and right at everything that is happening, like very angrily yelling at everything.
Put this in perspective.
So
I to put this in perspective, like the scene while all this is going on. Tim Tom's probably having to sit in the middle of this fucking like the back seat, and he's literally holding on to Yarh like a fucking teddy bear for dear life.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, you fucking bastard.
I have always had
Immediate road rage.
I have always, I mean, in the past, I've obviously driven through like combat scenarios and, you know, fucking basically just off the grid kind of shit. I'm pretty sure I've never actually drove on a civilian highway before.
Dude.
Yeah.
So I'm looking around in awe at the density of vehicles and the fucking way that like
Everyone's fucking driving.
yeah.
Yeah, it is terrifying. Until
I'm squeezing
eventually
Yarh a little too hard.
he manages to hit an exit and just about flatten a fucking small car that seems to have a gnome in it as it drives by. And as he parts ways into the exit, he lets out a sigh of relief and goes, "Well, we're only halfway there. Rest of the journey should be fairly comfy."
Is driving through the Crucible normally that life-threatening?
Well, what I just did there was illegal, so
Oh.
Huh.
Tim Top?
This being squeezed.
I imagine like one eye's bulging out a fucking yar each.
Oh god.
Sorry.
So, as you're driving away from the city, making your way into the darkness of the caverns in the far distance on one of the high-rise platforms along with a couple of vehicles, as this truck drives and is engulfed into the surrounding region, that is where our very short session for tonight will leave off, because tomorrow, or next week, we'll be doing some delving and some prep for another fucking heist scenario.
Alright, 2 hours. I mean, that's
Stone.
2 hour session. I guess that was respectable.
Pretty...
I want to point out, as soon as you were like, oh yeah, deep spelunking, my mind immediately went to, nigga just brought Deep Rock Galactic into Starfinder. What the fuck?
That's our word.
Which one? Rock and or
Okay,
stone?
so here's the question. I now have 2 episode name ideas for this. I want to hear which we like better. Do we want We Need to Cook, or do we want Rock and Stone?
Oh god.
I think Rock and Stone should be the next one.
You're
Rock
probably
and Stone
right.
will be the next one.
We need to cook.
We need to cook.
Well, wait. Although We Need to Cook might end up being the fucking episode Tim Tom. Wait, are we still recording?
Yes.
Excellent.
You want me to cut it? We can cut it.
You can start the recording now, Brian.
Yeah, okay, thank you.